Then it was after that, it dawned to me that, it's something that I have to accept. It's not going to go away, even if I refuse to accept it. So might as well just accept it and get it over and done with.
What was the hardest emotion for you?
I guess it's like not being able to start, being very emo in front of your families, not just my daughter, okay? Because sometimes people also don't know how to react. You are given a second chance. You actually come out of all your challenges, as a new person, stronger than ever. It's like I'm a renewed person. I know that I'm not going to be bothered by little things that doesn't matter anymore.
Welcome back to In Motherhoods. This episode is part of a special series on breast cancer and motherhood. When Jeanette first heard the word cancer, her world went still. She was faced with something unbearable and made the decision to say no to chemotherapy. But as cancer advanced, she chose life and she made a different choice. Today, the founder of The Red Wedding, a breast cancer survivor, and also a mother, she is not just surviving but thriving. Welcome to an episode with Jeanette. Jeanette, when you were first faced with this unimaginable situation, the diagnosis, you decided that you're gonna say no to chemotherapy. What was the difference between taking it versus when you said no on that day?
So when I was initially diagnosed, I was actually a stage 2 cancer patient. So of course, the first reaction was cry. It was nonstop crying, at the clinic when the doctor actually told me that, okay, the scans came back, it's positive that you have cancer. Okay, so first reaction was everything just started flowing. After that, after I calmed myself down and everything, the thoughts was that, it's actually a stage 2. It wasn't that scary. Okay, because when you research and when you hear, when you ask around, it's like stage 2, you still have lots of hope, lots of chances, okay, and it's going to be well after that. So for that reason, and also some other reasons, I actually decided to refuse chemo. So both me and my husband, we thought that, by doing a surgery, that should, technically heal everything. And, we did not feel that there's actually a further need to do the chemotherapy, because chemotherapy, when you research or when you Google and when you read, you always see that, it's people talking about putting poison into your body, so that's really something that I'm not ready to. And also for the fact that, I didn't want to lose my hair. Okay, it's very superficial, but it's something that I'm going to tell you that, yes, that actually crossed my mind. I didn't want to lose my hair. Okay, so that's also one of the factors that actually contributed to the reason why I decided not to do chemotherapy when I was first diagnosed as a stage 2 patient. So fast forward, okay, 1 year later, when I actually did my scan, unfortunately, the cancer actually came back. Okay, so this time around, it actually came back pretty aggressive. So I had an upgrade.
I mean, who would have thought, I resonate that if you've done the surgery and then you have no more breasts,
Yeah.
then, you think that, okay, you're safe, you're in the safe zone, but it progressed.
Yeah. So when it came back, I actually had cancer cells like in my liver, my lower back. Okay, so that's like an immediate up to a stage 4. So it's like, wow, it's an upgrade that nobody
Upgrade or
wants.
downgrade. Yeah.
It's an upgrade that nobody wants, at all.
So I would just want to pause you there and rewind back to tell us a little bit about life, how Jeanette was before there was cancer in your life.
So when I was first diagnosed, right, I was like in my early 40s, all right? So I was holding a corporate job. I was running my business. I was like a mother to my daughter. I was a wife. I was a daughter to my mother. I think as of most women, we play multiple roles, and that was all the roles that I was playing. I was also a makeup artist. I am still a makeup artist. Yes, that's right. So I was like, a day in my life is like, it's nonstop. Okay, so I go to work, I come back home, I do my roles as a mother, as a daughter, I run my business over the weekends, I go make people look pretty, as a makeup artist over the
That
weekends.
gives so much context to, about how you look at your hair, because as a makeup artist, you know how much the hair can
Yes,
really frame
yes,
your face. And
that's right.
yeah, I did my curls for you today.
You're looking beautiful.
This is my first time I did curls on In Motherhood.
Oh, okay, that's nice. You should do it more often.
Thank you. Yeah. So can you take us back then to when you first got diagnosed? How did you process that personally?
Initially, I didn't actually share the news with a lot of people. In fact, it was close. I remember when I was actually diagnosed, right? It was actually close to Chinese New Year. So usually in my
Which year was this?
the first round was in 2018. Okay, so it was quite close to Chinese New Year. So we went on the celebrations. I had parties at home. Everybody came over. We were laughing,
So you live life as normal.
Yeah, so I didn't actually share about the diagnosis until pretty much later.
Was it because it was stage 2?
That was part of it. And also the other part was like, I wanted to be able to talk about it without crying.
Because you were just hit with the rawness of the reality.
Yeah.
And you want to be able to process it, and you haven't had the time to process it because it was Chinese New Year.
That's
and
right.
usually you are the host,
Yes.
I believe, and you're hosting these parties and bringing your friends around, and you don't have the words to say yet.
Yeah. And I guess I didn't want to have to think about it at that time because it's like Chinese New Year. Then it was after that, it dawned to me that, it's something that I have to accept. It's not going to go away, even if I refuse to accept it. So might as well just accept it and get it over and done with.
So then you went to get your surgery done. That was the first step.
So I did my surgery. I was on hospitalization leave. I took my time to really heal and recover. Then, of course, came the 1 year later thingy where I got the upgrade, right? And that is like, oh my God.
So surgery gave you relief for a few months? Did it give you a relief?
Oh, yeah. In fact, I had a pretty good year.
Oh, good.
Yeah, because I lived
So it did
life.
help a little bit.
Yeah, I lived life like I never lived before. I was like having lunches with whoever that can meet up with me. It's like you just kind of like, it just dawns on you.
And 1 year later, when it relapsed, it must have been worse than the first time you heard it.
Definitely, because it's like when you hear stage 4, it's like, oh, how much longer do I have? It's really like a wake-up call that, hey, the cancer cells are moving pretty quickly, pretty aggressively.
So your doctor after surgery did recommend chemotherapy?
Yes, he did. Okay, but me being the garang and more gung ho one, and like what I, shared earlier on, right? It's like technically, when something is bad, you removed it. There should not be a platform for the bad things to grow, right? So that is our thoughts back then when we made the decision. But a lot of people always ask me, like, did you regret? To be honest, I didn't regret.
Regret not taking chemo
Yeah.
in the
I didn't
beginning.
regret because it actually gave me a 1 year of living life and really living it, like as if there's no tomorrow.
So what changed or shifted for you to help you to say yes in the end to cancer chemotherapy?
So my daughter was like 9, 10 back then. So it's like, I have to make sure that I'm around, because it's like 10, you're not that old. You're not that matured enough to really, really take care of yourself. She's my only child. I needed to be there. My responsibilities were not fulfilled. So there were a lot of things my to-do list is still, it's still ever running. So I know I needed to be alive. I had to stay alive. Okay, it's not a choice.
How did she take the news when you break it to her?
Okay, my daughter is quite chill. Okay, so for me, I don't usually like to overshare of information. I share what was essential
For her?
for her to understand at that moment. Okay, which is like, I just preempt her about what's going to be happening. Okay, because the hair loss is definitely one very obvious, thing that it's gonna be happening. I'll be in and out of the hospital, doing all the treatments. I didn't know how I would react to the treatment right back then. So it's like, I might feel very sick on days, so I really don't know. So, but I just briefly ran through that, I'm actually going through some treatments, things like that. So definitely you'll see a bald mother. So these are the little things that I actually prep her on. But I didn't feel that there's a need to overshare.
To look at motherhood and survival, it's like you are already processing this, and you said you were crying a lot, and then you have to show up. So it's this balance between being vulnerable and then be showing up as a mother in a daily life. Like, how did you balance that throughout the time? Like, what was the hardest emotion for you?
I guess it's like, not being able to like start, being very emo in front of I would say in front of your families, not just my daughter. Okay. Because sometimes people also don't know how to react. Like, like some friends also don't know how to react. If let's
Correct.
say I were to start crying, showing a lot of emotions, things like that. Yeah. So of course that is done behind closed doors lah. Yeah. In the night when nobody's watching. Yeah.
And there was a moment that you kind of just said yes because I want to live.
Yeah, I guess it just happened so that it's like, there was something that just clicked, and then I just said, okay, let's move on to the next thing. Okay, enough of crying. Okay, we got to just move on and let's move.
And when you finally started treatment, what surprised you the most? Like, what you imagined it to be, all the fears over here versus what it was like in reality.
Okay, so for me, I think I'm one of the very fortunate ones. Okay, I had very minimal kind of a side effects. Okay, so there's always a lot of people who like throw up after every chemo treatment, which makes, a lot of them don't want to go through the whole treatment, the whole cycle, things like that. So fortunately for me, I didn't have any of that. I didn't have like diarrhea, no nausea.
Some good news.
Yeah, so to me is that, well, okay, it's not as terrible as I thought it was. Yeah, so I guess it's like, it's a little bit, I would say it's a little bit psychological, because I always believe that these are like mind over matters. If you think that, you're going to feel terrible, I think naturally, you will feel terrible. So fortunately for me is that I it I would say it wasn't as bad as I thought.
What kept you going during that time? Like when you were going through the chemo, when you didn't want to go through it, what was that one thought in your mind that helped you to get through it?
Definitely my daughter is a big factor.
And the
Okay.
will to live.
Yeah, I mean it's like I have so many things that I haven't finished.
Yes.
And I tell you, I also think about like my clients. Because it's like weddings are always prepped way
Oh, yes,
beforehand, right? So I'm like
yes.
thinking, oh no, if anything were to happen to me, I'm already having like backup plans, like, okay, what do I have to do? How are we gonna have like a backup so that,
Oh, because you had no
weddings,
backup
yeah,
plan
weddings still,
previously.
because I don't want to be in that situation where, I can't fulfill what I have already promised somebody.
Yeah, I love how you did not lose sight of what else there is in life, because it could be, let's not forget that it is hard sometimes when you're in the thick of it, that you can lose sight of the future.
Yeah.
I would say. And I love that you also brought up your wedding, the red wedding. So tell us about the red wedding. You make gowns, traditional gowns.
Yeah, so the red wedding, we actually focus on the traditional Chinese wedding attires. Okay, so it's always been my passion. Okay, anything embroidery, and I think that, for local context, right? Because the Chinese, we tend to be a little bit more westernized. So
Now
everything
in
is like,
Singapore.
yeah, so
Yeah.
everything is like, everything very ang mo. Okay, I
Rolling
mean,
the eyes.
yeah.
I married an Ang Mo,
It's
so
okay.
you
I mean,
can.
nothing wrong with that. But is that I think as a Chinese, I think we should be very proud of our Chinese cultures
I
and
agree
tradition.
wholeheartedly.
Yeah, because when I look at my like Malay friends, Indian friends, when you see their festivals and even their weddings,
Oh,
right,
I love
it's so
that. Yes.
colorful.
I feel like when I attended an Indian wedding, I was like, they are dancing the night away. And I was like, this
Exactly.
is how you should celebrate a wedding,
Yes,
like,
it's
sometimes, the Chinese sit down dinners, I feel like, oh, they just sit down
yeah,
and then
very,
by 10
very
o'clock it's done. The
disciplined.
cake is not even real. And I was like, okay, this is like putting up a show for your parents, maybe, I don't know, or for people around you.
Yeah.
So I agree that I feel like weddings should be more festive.
Yeah.
It's funny because we had a very like 1 day wedding and I did the Chinese tea ceremony, but my husband didn't want to wear the Chinese, what do you call it?
Makwa.
Wangfua. And then I was like, oh, I want to wear my cheongsam, but then if you don't wear, then it feels really weird.
It's okay. No worries. Okay, just do
Yeah.
it.
So I was saying that, okay, maybe in our 10 years anniversary, I'm going to be like, honey, it's time.
Yeah,
I'll
you
look
should,
for you,
should.
Jeanette.
Of course, more than welcome.
So, but I feel like you love weddings, and this love for weddings became like it's a joyful event, and it became part of your healing in a way, right?
Yeah,
How
that's
do
right.
you look at joy differently after your fight for survival?
Well, we are so stressed, right? Every day from work, from families, managing daily lives, chores, and everything. So it's like whenever there's an opportunity to do something happy, and weddings is all about, being happy, being in love, looking at each other lovey-dovey, that kind of thing. And then it's like, being able to be involved in a couple's, this is a major milestone.
Union.
Yeah, and it's a big milestone for a lot of people. It's really very nice. The feeling is very, very nice. And at the end of the day, at the end of the wedding, right, when people come back to you and tell you that, hey, thank you so much, you really played a big role in our wedding, that is the little thing that, of course, besides the money, okay, we all need to
survive.
yeah, we all
you need to pay for the
eat.
cancer
Yes,
treatment.
correct. So I mean, besides that, it's that little return that really makes me
I
very,
love
very
that.
happy.
I love that. And your gowns, you were talking about the embroidery, and they have so many symbols like the dragon, the phoenix, the peonies, and they each carry their own
Meanings, that's
and
right.
they symbolize resilience, love, and strength. Perhaps I would love to hear more about this. Also, to tie it into what these symbols mean to you in your own journey.
Okay, so like for example, let's touch on the phoenix. Okay, so phoenix is actually, it's a very strong character kind of. So I kind of like can relate to it because like after this cancer episode and everything, right? So the phoenix is like, it's like a rebirth. You actually rebirth, you are given a second chance, you actually come out of all your challenges, as a new person, stronger than ever. So it's like having gone through this cancer, right? It's like I'm a renewed person. I know that I'm not going to be bothered by little things that doesn't matter anymore. It used to be that, a little bit of things last time is like, oh, very, very grouchy about it. Everything must be super perfect, that kind of thing.
Perfectionist.
Perfectionist. So it's like, these days, it's like, oh, okay, so be it. It's just like coming back to the part
Yeah.
about friends. Okay, you want to meet up? Let's meet up. You're not interested to meet up? So be it. Okay, I have other friends.
I would tie it back to motherhood because everyone, before they are a mother, they are one person. And then after they become a mother, it feels like we need to die to ourselves and then be reborn like the phoenix.
Yeah.
So I would tie it back to motherhood being that you need to find your new self and identity again. And also talking about motherhood, I just want to draw a little bit more of how your daughter fit into the picture while you were going through your whole story. Is there a message you would like to share with her, and not just her but daughters everywhere, about your journey, and to just speak into that for a moment?
Well, to all the daughters out there who are actually standing by, your mom's journey or you being a caregiver, know that we are all very proud of you, okay? Because we know that sometimes daughters or maybe some children don't talk a lot, but we know that you are taking in a lot of information from what you're seeing, and whatever it is, we'll always be there for you.
I love that. And for a mother who might be going through this diagnosis and also refusing chemotherapy, would you like to say a few words?
Well, if you have been unfortunately diagnosed with cancer, it's tough. Okay, I'm not going to tell you that it's a breeze. It's tough, but it's definitely something that you can do it. So give yourself some time to cry about it. Okay, but don't cry too long. Okay. Then after that, go through your treatment. You'll be surprised at the end of the day, right? At the end of your whole treatment sessions, that it's actually not that scary. It's something that's doable. It's just that how you're going to manage your day to day during that period of time. So if let's say you are given anybody offers help or support, take it. Don't be shy. Just take it and you're going to come out stronger.
Yes.
Hi, I'm Janet, founder of The Red Wedding. So, The Red Wedding, not to be coupled with the Game of Thrones, right? We actually specialize, in the rental and sale of traditional Chinese wedding attires. So, why, you might be asking, why not the white gown? You can have both, okay? Because it's like, this is a tradition that I believe every Chinese or even one half of the Chinese couple should try to follow through, okay? Because it's like if you don't do it during the wedding, there's not much opportunities for you to actually do it again. So if you need anything, just hit me up. Okay, you can check me out on Instagram or Facebook.
That was Jeanette, a mother who turned fear and pain into purpose. And her story reminds us that sometimes what we imagine to be scary is not as scary as it seems. And we can survive much more than we give ourselves credit for. So, if this conversation resonates with you and you know another mother that might be going through something similar, share it with her. And I hope that she will carry resilience and hope through this conversation. This is In Motherhoods, and I'll see you in the next conversation. Thank you.